Last year, CCIH established the annual Christian International Health Champions Award. We debated the topic, the wording of the award, also even the idea of an award. You know, there's New Testament foundation for not doing things like awards and making big to-dos out of honoring one another. But the board was enthusiastic about the idea. The first International Health Champion Award went to someone who's here, and I'm going to ask him to stand. Dr. Douglas Huber, please. Welcome, Douglas. I'm not going to say a whole lot about this. Page 41 of the program describes a bit about the award, the purpose of the award, and a little bio of the awardee, and some of the points that I gather Nancy Harris, who is a board member and initially nominated the awardee for this award. So you can read that. I do want to add a few things that I know about Dr. Henry Mosley that are not on page 41. Henry earlier this afternoon had mentioned that our association, our relationship goes back before CCIH. I did my MPH at Hopkins 1984, 1985, before CCIH even existed. And I was fascinated that the Hopkins program at that time, things have changed, had no formal program the year I was there on ethics and public health, or ethics and global health. And I discovered that the rules at Hopkins then, I hope it's the same, allow students to organize programs for credit. So I organized a one credit course called International Health, Ethics in International Health and Population. But the rules, unfortunately, required that I have a faculty sponsor. You know, you don't fully trust students. So I don't remember the process, but I remember the result that the faculty member that I contacted and who readily agreed to be the faculty sponsor for a course in ethics in international health and population was our awardee this evening. I should mention, though, that Henry's association with CCIH goes back almost to the beginning. I know that you've been a member since CCIH organized a board around 1992, I believe. There were a few years before that there were conferences, but CCIH hadn't been very well organized yet. A couple other things I want to say that are not on page 41. Henry was born in China. Henry's parents were medical missionaries in China. One thing that I think is still valid, that's not on page 41 either, is that Henry was involved in Bangladesh in establishing what has become the largest ongoing demographic surveillance system in the world. Is that still valid? I know it was valid a number of years ago. Okay, well and page 41 has quite a few of the accomplishments and activities of our awardee tonight. What it doesn't say, because I have it, we don't have enough pages in the program for all of Henry's CV, but it's an 18-page, or at least the one that I have, it's several years old, is an 18-page document. And that, of course, is partly because it lists some of these 140 plus publications that he's been a part of. On the family side, 3 sons. I didn't get to see Paul. Where is Paul here? Oh yeah, right behind. And Bonnie, where's Bonnie? She's taking care of a grandkid. No, Henry and Bonnie are personal friends as well as professional friends. And the final thing I want to say, before asking Henry to come up, is that I've found, since I worked most of my life in a secular environment, USAID, World Bank, and it's just my sort of third career with CCIH, where I've been working more explicitly in trying to connect the faith and the professional world, that I've encountered a lot of people who I knew or eventually discovered were Christian, but in their professional engagements, the professional communities, it may not have been obvious that they were Christian, not because of their lifestyle or anything, but just because they didn't make a point of making clear or speaking or living publicly in a way that one would know that they are Christian. Henry is an exception to that. Henry has had a very distinguished professional career. Page 41 in the program outlines a number of those things. But Henry has also lived his life in such a way that he made no effort at all to try to separate the realities of his highly successful professional career and his faith. And Henry told me that he did not prepare a long speech, but I will ask you to say a few words about how you in your own life think about faith and how faith interacts with your professional career. So Henry, please come up to receive the 2015 Christian International Health Champion Award.
Indeed, I've not prepared any remarks, and that's a good thing because I realize that we already are overtime for the next session. So honestly, I told Ray that I didn't really have much to say. I just want to say a couple of things. How do you get to achieve this award? Number one, if you're working in international health, particularly as an American, you've gotten this award because you climbed up or ridden on the shoulders of an enormous number of people in the developing world where you have worked, who have taught you and led you and guided you and helped you through a lot of terribly dumb mistakes because you don't know the language, you don't know the culture. And somehow it's through that if there's any achievement there, I have to give the credit to many, many people whom I could name, but many more I couldn't name at all. In organizations I've worked with in these countries and in people who live there and really have dedicated and committed their lives there. And so it was really hard for me when CCIH told me that I had this award. I guess the second thing is you have to be old. And survive long enough. But I want to, particularly getting this award with this group here and with CCIH, I really wanted to just leave with some scripture here, because to me, it's really hard, as you say, as a Christian, to accept any kind of an award, and this is the reason. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, right? There they are, all of you, and many, many more who are not here, whom all of you have worked with. Let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy of awaiting him, He endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne. Think of all the hostility he endured from sinful people. Then you won't become weary and give up. After all, you have not yet given your lives in your struggle against sin. And so I feel like I'm surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the faith. And in one sense, I feel like I'm accepting this honor on behalf of all of you as well, who have done, to me, much, much more than I have ever accomplished, because I think all of us, we're working for the same person around the world. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted the first selfie with the award winner. I'm going to hashtag CCIH 2015 and put it on Facebook.
It's better for me because I get a selfie with Mona.
Oh, see, look at Smooth. This is why we love Henry.